Hi there, my name's Aaron Short and welcome to my YouTube channel, and today I'm checking out the Fender FR-12 guitar cabinet. So Fender announced these with the Tone Master Pro that everyone's talking about. Not many people are talking about these cabinets, and I want to talk about them first. I think this could be a big seller because this will work with the Tone Master Pro and an existing modeler as well. So what is it? Well, this is a 1000-watt 1x12 guitar cab. There's also a 1x10 version as well, which is slightly cheaper and slightly lighter. But this one comes in at under £30 for a 1000-watt 1x12 cabinet. They really did their homework both on the Tone Master Pro and on this, I feel, because actually just a few weeks ago, Line 6 were talking about your modeler is only as good as what you play it through. And this has been a problem for years. Back when the Helix came out, they didn't have their Power Cab series, so how did you amplify the Helix? There was a constant debate about this. If you use in-ears, if you plug into a PA system, obviously it's absolutely fine. But what if you don't? And for me, I sometimes play gigs where they say, bring your amp. They expect you to have an amp on stage, or you play somewhere where you want an amp on stage. So I've had a constant thing about, do I use a PA speaker? Do I use a real guitar amp? What do I do? I like using a real amp, but it has its own issues, of course. So this really is what I've been looking for. And I also alluded to this when I did the Tone Master amp review a few months ago, because I said that thing would be awesome if you could use it with your modeler, and you can't. Well, that's what this is. This has no amp sounds in it. This is just reproducing what you plug into it in a full range flat response way. But here's why I love it so much. The way they've designed this. If you're a fan of Fender amps, first of all, it looks like you've just got a Fender amp behind you. Some people will love that, especially coming from a traditional amp setup. Even if you don't care about that, it looks nice. It doesn't look tacky. It looks like a quality piece of gear on stage. It also has the fantastic legs built in that the Tone Master amps have. I raved about that in my review as well. One of my favorite features about that amp was the legs, and the legs are on this one too. So as you can see, it just tilts right back and is incredibly sturdy like that. On the top, you have treble, middle, bass, and a cut control, which is like a presence. It cuts the highs down as you bring it up. This doesn't affect the sound going to front of house. This is just for this speaker. So you can set up your presets, plug in your modeler, and then quickly tweak it with the knobs on the speaker during the performance without worrying about making adjustments on your modeler. That can be huge for some people, especially if you just want like a clean amp, and then you can do all your settings from here, basically. You haven't got to get down on the floor or use your phone to change things. You just do it like you would on a real amp. I'm so blown away by all that. And there's even the direct out to then go from that into front of house with an XLR cable in case the modeler you're plugging in doesn't have a spare XLR cable out to go to front of house. They did their homework on this. It's awesome. I'll also say I plugged it in yesterday and it sounds good too. Now, it doesn't sound like a real amp or a real speaker, because what you're doing here is you're putting through an emulation of an amp and a cab mic'd in the studio, which this is then playing back in the room. So you do get a bit of that flavor because it is shaped like a guitar amp. It looks like a guitar amp. It has a speaker in there. It gives you that feel of a traditional cabinet, but it will never be the same as running your modeler into a power amp and then into a regular guitar cab. That will be a bit more directional, a bit more pokey in my opinion. But having said that, I've tried a lot of these devices and I really hated a lot of them. I like the Kemper cab, but it's on the small side and only really works with the Kemper. This will work with any modeler, and that's why I think this is going to be the big hit of the release of what just came out from Fender. But I did notice there's some hiss. Now, there's two things here. First of all, at the time of this video, there is a bug in the software. Let me show you what that is. And then I'm going to show you the noise floor of the speaker and compare it to another PA speaker just to show you that I feel it does have more noise floor, or a higher noise floor than I feel it should do. I don't think I'll even play much today because how's that going to help you? You're going to be listening through your phone or through your headphones, right? You need to try it out. I'm really just here today to say I plugged it in yesterday. I was either going to like it or I wasn't. I know now from trying a lot of these speakers if I like them or not. I like it. But the hiss for me is a problem. Maybe I have a defective unit. Maybe it needs a firmware update. Or maybe this is the way it's intended to be. Okay, so this is something I saw on the Facebook group. If you're in the editor here and you've done a full factory reset, so you've updated to the latest firmware, you've done a full factory reset, then you want to click on settings. So at the top right, there's a cogwheel, which is behind my head right now, but you'll see what I'm talking about. And then you want to click on mixer. Here's the thing, when you're plugged into anything, not just the cab, by the way, there's a thing here where the auxiliary is putting additional hiss and noise floor through your system, and you'll hear it. You can really clearly hear it. So what you do is you just uncheck that. So I'm not using the auxiliary at all. I'm going to uncheck all of them. And that will stop that going through. I mean, you could even uncheck the Bluetooth as well if you want. Basically, that auxiliary is spilling through, and it's doubling the noise floor for me in all instances of everything. So until the next release comes out with a bug fix for that, turn those auxiliaries off in this screen. That will greatly reduce any kind of background noise you're getting from the pedal to any monitoring system. Right, now let's check out the cabinet itself. So I'll play the recording from the handheld recorder in front of the cab. You're hearing cut at 0, which is flat, EQ all at neutral at noon, and volume at 0 with nothing plugged in. This is what it sounds like. So now, just for reference, because you have no reference, and by the way, you should wear headphones for this, I'm going to plug in a QSC speaker, which is also rated at the same power, put it in the same position, and then play you that recording, and then play the recordings back to back. Now, all speakers have a noise floor. Unfortunately, I mean, my studio monitors are very quiet. Most live speakers do have a noise floor. There's not many PA-style speakers that don't have a noise floor, right? So I don't expect this thing to be completely quiet, but there is a limit. And what I've noticed is that the volume doesn't affect it. This is purely noise floor. So if you plug in the ToneMaster Pro or a modeler and turn the volume to 10, the noise doesn't increase. So the noise is coming from the actual components of the speaker itself in its idle state. That means if you're playing loud with the band, you're not going to hear it. But if you're playing in an apartment or a studio, you are going to hear it. And I guess it all depends how susceptible you are to these things. If you play heavy rock with backing tracks and you don't care about a little bit of hiss, that's fine. If you play clean in a room like this, I think you're going to hear it. I certainly did myself. So what did you think? I hope this is user error. It's a bit too noisy for me. I look forward to seeing what Fender say about this. If this is the way it's intended to be, I don't think it's going to work for me for the kind of environment I'm in here. Maybe at a gig, but I really want something that will work in both environments. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care and be well. Bye-bye.